And there we are, live once again. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Ted Talk. You're on the Mobile Geezer channel. As you can see, Ted is already with us. And tonight's show is totally Ted's creation. His idea, everything about it, he thought up. All I did was come up with a picture for the website. But what we're doing is all Ted's idea, so he's pretty much in charge. I just want to let you know that if you're here for the first time and you want to follow us on the show notes, of course, you can follow it on my website. So let me share screen. Over here, if you go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, and you click on today's date, you'll get the show notes just for tonight. And all it is a couple of notes tonight. And it says this week's theme, everyday devices made obsolete by our smartphones, totally inspired by Ted. So then I've got a couple of notes. We're going to reminisce. And so this was all Ted's idea. I believe Mike is going to join us later. Eleanor says she's hearing an echo. So I think that's coming through your mic, Ted, as far as I know. All right, let me stop screen. Okay. So now I'm still hearing it coming through your mic when I talk to you.
Interesting, because the echo starts now.
Yeah, and the fuzzing when you just talk is a whole lot worse than it was a few minutes ago. Hey, we got Big Dog in here. Welcome, brother. He says echo sounding like a robot. So there's something about Ted's mic that's causing some kind of issue, I do believe. I'm using the same stuff I always use, so nothing new here. But I know Ted was listening to me through speakers, and I believe my voice was coming out of the speakers going into that mic, and I was hearing my own voice getting fuzzed up too. So I gather Ted's going to go fix that. So we'll see how that goes. And Brian's asking Big Dog, did he get the S23 Ultra? Now, of course, Big Dog, I will tell him because I already know the answers from watching your blog, so I'll let you tell him.
Mic check. Mike.
Oh, that's a lot better. That's a whole lot better.
All right.
Yeah, Eleanor said it was rough. Yeah, oh, now it's perfect. Now it's good.
Gotta have a mic in the shot. First world problems.
Well, as soon as Mike gets here, we'd have a mic in the shot anyway. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Big Dog is answering Brian. Yes, he has the S23 Ultra.
Congrats, Big Dog.
Today he was saying he got and I remember from last week from his blog, he got a version, I think the T-Mobile version, but he's talking about getting an what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for, Ted? Not tied to a carrier version. That's why I generally don't get carrier versions of myself.
Okay, let me know when we're going to put that there. We ready to start? Should we start?
I'm ready. We can start whenever you're ready. You're in charge here.
Yeah, but I don't have to leave you behind, No.
Should I put the picture up or not? Should I put the website up or not?
Which website?
My website that has the notes.
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
So we're off and running.
Yeah, but you can put me on full screen though.
Okay. been so long since I've done it, I have to remember how.
I think you just click on my face.
I don't know. It's not that. It's bigger. That's me. And I want me. I want you. I don't remember how to do that. It's been a long, long time since. So
I think you just click on my face
I'm clicking on your face and nothing's happening. So that's not it.
on the top or the bottom.
I'm clicking right in the middle. Oh, wait a minute. Solo lay. Okay. I had to click on
Hey,
something.
there you go.
Now it's all you. Okay.
Ooh. Sorry, let me just set the tone.
Yeah, Big Dog wants the unlocked version of the S23. So. Okay, now he set the tone. I don't know what that was, but he's setting the tone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special edition of Friday Night Tech Talk, where tonight we will forgo the usual news stories and this time regale you with stories from our past. But first, a word from our sponsors. Today's episode of Friday Night Tech Talk is brought to you by Stella Rosa. Ooh, not that one.
I got the wrong one. I love it.
It's brought to you by Stella Rosa.
There you go.
Stella Rosa is a low alcoholic wine that has 24 many award-winning flavors. Please, however you choose to enjoy Stella Rosa, enjoy it the best way, responsibly. I was supposed to do the caption on that means don't drink and drive, and if you think you're pregnant, don't drink until you know for sure. And Friday Night Tech Talk is also brought to you by the Glowing Rectangles subreddit.
There you go.
Yep, you can put that website up, George.
Oh, now you want me to put... hold on. You're springing stuff on me out of the blue. All right, let's share the screen. Now, you want the glowing rectangles, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you tired of having your tech stories fed to you by an unfeeling algorithm or whatever the heck it is, AI? I don't know how it identifies these days. But if you are tired of that and instead you want stories about tech brought to you by like-minded individuals such as yourself, then go on over to www.reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles. Over there, you will find tech enthusiasts such as yourself sharing tech stories and tech news and other videos by small creators that are certainly worthy of your attention. And you couldn't trust an algorithm to just bring that to your doorstep. So again, go to www.reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles. And when you're there, feel free to share and upvote. It's free. And comment. It is a great place to foster great tech conversations. Ooh, this pineapple is good. All right.
I wonder who posted this from Call Pay. Oh, you did.
I did? No, that was Mike.
According to this, this is Mike's. Okay. I have not watched this interview at all. Have you?
Not yet.
I'm not going to either. I am losing respect for Call Pay faster and faster by the day.
Well, we'll have to talk about that next week when we get to the regular programming. We haven't talked about the 1+11 yet, have we?
No.
Okay. All right. Back to full screen, George.
All right. Am I out of this? Okay. Okay. There you go.
Now, in tonight's special edition programming, instead of, again, talking to you about tech stories that happened this week, we will instead be sharing stories from our past regarding smartphones. But quick, a little segue.
Hold on,
We-
hold on. Look who's in here. Look who's in here with us. Uh-oh.
What?
We got big
Huh?
time.
What's going on?
George, back to full screen. What are you doing?
We have a glowing rectangle in here with us. I'm sorry.
Uh,
Sorry, Juan. I couldn't resist that.
I love it. No, I mean, if you can call me a glowing rectangle if you
Okay,
want.
thank you very much.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So, very,
Hey, Juan,
very
welcome.
surprised and pleased to have you here, sir.
Yeah, stoked to pop in for a bit. Thought we could kind of chat and stuff.
What did you want to chat about, Juan? Anything in particular?
You know, general technology. I'm pretty good on most topics there. I have a OnePlus 11. If you guys want to talk about that, I don't know. What are you guys feeling like?
Well, for that,
We wanted
George,
tonight to be about old tech that smartphones have made obsolete. That's
Oh, that's definitely up my alley. That's
Okay.
certainly something we can chat out.
yeah. George, could you put me back on full screen, please, just for a little bit?
Well, I need to let people see that Juan was here. Okay, we don't get Juan every week, so that was a little special for me. You know.
Okay. Where was I? All right. So today's special programming. Today, we forgo the usual tech stories that occurred this week and instead regale you with stories from our past. What if I were to tell you that the average house cat kills 1 billion birds a year? 1 billion, that's a B. Average house cat. Yeah, you thought it was cute, doesn't it? But what if I told you that there's an even greater killer, and this killer is right on our persons? The smartphone. Who knows just how many lives this thing has changed, killing indiscriminately the tech that it shares its lineage with. Tonight, we will discuss the tech that this great smartphone has killed that we no longer use because this thing is always on us. And in part 2, we will discuss if there's any other potential victims the smartphone will kill. So sit back and relax and let's get on with the show. George, round it up.
All right. So now what am I doing? So you're running things.
Oh, right. Yeah. You guys can join me, by the way. Thank you.
There we go. All right.
Hello. That was very dramatic.
Following what Ted is telling me to do here. He refused to run the stream, so I have to do what he tells me to do.
So yes, each of us, all speakers on panel, will share 3 devices that we no longer use because, we now have a smartphone. After we name each device, we will all take a toast to the device. I hope you guys remember to bring a drink. We can't toast to water,
Toasting with water is bad form, but I don't have.
I don't know about bad form, but I heard it was bad luck.
Well,
I
yeah.
have
I
a little
mean,
drink. I have a little vodka in here, so I'm good.
yeah, that's totally something whiskey adjacent in this mug.
So after each device that is named, we take a toast and, we tell a little story about, that device that we no longer use after the smartphone. After we've all shared our 3 stories, we can then go on to what the smartphone is probably going to kill in the future.
And look what Mike says. You can't toast with coffee, Mike.
Coffee? Well, I mean, the
It's
morning
better
toast.
than water.
According to Ted. All right,
So-
Ted, go ahead.
Oh, I go first? I thought, okay. I'll go first.
This was your idea.
All right. So yes, let me lay the example. Oh, it's not every time I have to be a good example.
That's right.
So I'm just looking at what Juan's putting on his head.
Gary says, "Why do Ted look like Alfred Hitchcock?"
It's called a theme, Gary.
That's the Alfred Hitchcock music, in case you didn't know.
Ironically, despite the fact that I created this theme for this tonight and, I posed a question looking back, there's actually not much this smartphone has actually killed. I can't. I'm having trouble naming three things, but one of them. Oh, I have to go. This is why I made the visual aids for myself because I got to remember. I can't even remember. That's how good a smartphone. That's how good a
far
killer a
back this
smartphone
goes, I
is.
guess.
Let's see.
We just lost one.
I'm looking. I guess FM radios. Yes, FM radios.
Okay, all right.
FM radios. That's one thing. I never had to walk around with much. I did. I used to have to walk around with an FM radio, but that was quickly done away with by. It wasn't even a smartphone because smartphones don't even have FM radios built into them anymore.
I got to time out here though.
Yep.
You said. But your FM radio isn't obsolete because you have one in your car that I would expect you still use.
I don't know. I use my phone.
Oh, you don't use your FM radio even in your car?
No.
Wow. Okay. I do that sometimes.
No, I control with what I listen to now. But back in the day, before MP3s were a thing, I had to listen to FM radios before I had like a Discman or a Walkman. So. Yeah. Exactly. I would walk around with a FM radio, and that was killed by the Nokia. It looked like the Nokia brick phones, but this one was made out of stainless steel. The Nokia 6301 or something.
I have no idea.
But yeah, that's one device that the smartphone killed. It wasn't even a smartphone, the Nokia 633, the stainless steel one, but it killed it. Okay. And was it a smartphone? I mean, it could download apps and it did have AIM. So maybe, yeah, it was an early smartphone. The second thing that was done away with for me was Renz gets it. Second one done away for me was the I guess Game Boy consoles. Okay. The Game Boy, yeah. Someone made the GBA emulator that worked perfectly well on Android, the Samsung Galaxy Ace.
I remember the name, and I don't remember it really. The moment said Nokia 8800.
Let me go look at that one.
And Gary says, "In gas station maps." That's very true.
Yep, that was the family. Ooh, good-looking device.
So the Nokia 8800?
Yep, that was it. What's funny, though, is that smartphones these days don't even have FM radios. Like, a majority of them don't. So, ironic. What was it? So Game Boys was one thing I also did away from me. And then what else? I think maybe that might be it. Well, I guess it's not a technology, but it did kill an activity I would do, going on the prowl for dates.
Okay.
Now there's apps for that, but no, we have to stick to technology. Oh, we were supposed to take drinks, so I named two. So
that's right.
I guess, a toast to the FM radio.
One is back with it. All right, we have to use our toast. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, all of my audio just went bork. So what I miss? The FM radio?
Yeah.
That's where. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Juan's technology was scared. Like, the smartphone. So, drink to the FM radio.
All right.
And number 2 for me was the Game Boys, specifically the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
And then you also said the Nokia 8800.
Yeah, that's what killed the FM radios for me on my persons. And pretty much all MP3 players.
Brian is saying no need for kitchen timers now. That's true.
Yeah, that was never a thing for me. But yes, watches actually. It was only until later that I now started looking at watches. But growing up, watches were not important to me. So
I'm
watches.
the complete opposite. Up until I got into smartphones, I had like 13 different watches, including 2 pocket watches. Mm-hmm. Then I stopped wearing watches until smartwatches came out, and now I wear a smartwatch every day, and I change them every single day. Today's the Pixel Watch.
Oh, nice.
Pocket watches.
I still enjoy a classic timepiece. When I'm trying to dress something up, so
Okay,
I'll
see,
still sport a watch then. But
ever since the smartwatches came out, I can't bring myself to wear any of my other watches. I just can't. I'm too used to having the notifications, I guess.
I think that's fair. Because I am that nerd, so I'm with you on notifications on your wrist.
Exactly.
But occasionally, just like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, I can see that. I have
But
some
yeah,
nice watches too.
I think it definitely has decimated, like,
Yeah.
what would have been like a nice $200 or $300 analog
Exactly.
watch is now like, well, why would you do that?
Exactly.
So, yep, that's my 3 things.
Okay.
Going clockwise, Juan.
Okay, is that how we're doing? I didn't really prepare a whole lot.
Well, neither did I, so don't feel bad.
I was gonna say things like, because you said FM radio, I was gonna say, like, oh, standalone MP3 players, but really smartphones didn't kill those. Smartphones started to kill them, and then I think Bluetooth earbuds killed the standalone music player.
Right. I would agree.
Because we had really great phones that were premium, high quality DAC amp devices, and then we got rid of headphone jacks. And really, I think what kind of pushed us over the edge for not carrying a solo separate device was actually the headphone itself, not necessarily the phone. So I'll start with point and shoot and bridge cameras.
Okay.
Those are all wrecked by the smartphone and the modern smartphone camera system. So we would like to sort of toast to the demise of mediocre standalone cameras.
To mediocre standalone cameras.
Huzzah!
Good riddance.
And of course, both you guys know a lot more about photography than me, so you guys are the experts as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, we all do. We just have fun.
Yep, Ryan saying smartphones kill taxi cab service outside of the larger cities. Well, I guess probably true outside of the cities.
I guess apps services, but even then, taxis still use apps. If you want to call a cab, you
He said outside
of the larger cities. So I guess if you start getting to a little rural,
yeah,
probably just Uber, I guess.
Well, no, he said outside the larger cities,
but if you go outside the larger cities, the Uber and the Lyft get even worse. So when I covered the MediaTek event, that was up in Sonoma. Right. And boy, howdy, do Uber drivers not want to drive to Sonoma.
Oh, really?
So then I needed a cab and a shuttle to get from San Francisco to Sonoma. So I feel like in the city, Uber and Lyft are kind of like go-to services, but outside the city, they're really sketchy trying to get consistent service.
What's the distance from San Francisco to Sonoma? Because I've never been to California.
I don't know. We don't measure in distance anymore. It was like 90-minute. It was a 90-minute drive
so it's a pretty good
get
distance.
from. Okay. I mean, it might not be. It's just you've got to get through San Francisco, so the traffic was miserable.
Right, but I can see why Uber and Lyft guys wouldn't want to get out that far because at that point they're losing money. Yeah.
Oh, big time! And I was even tipping really heavy to try and get like someone covered, and sure. Uber was really weird about that too. But so okay. I would say my second was killed by the smartphone would be portable DVD and video players, because those were really hot for a minute. I remember I was even working in a casting office, and we would have like clips like, hey, this is what we want you to try and do, or this is to try and mimic, and we would use like DVDs to try and show like, hey, this is the video.
With actors, right?
Yeah. That was almost that was like a year. And then it was like replaced by tablets and smartphones.
Now,
it's just so much easier to get video.
It couldn't be too far back. What year are we talking about?
So that would have been like 2006.
Okay, so I was thinking 7 or 8. Okay.
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh, first let's toast to the portable DVD
and
players.
We're glad it's gone.
Ooh. Oh, good year.
Now, Eleanor is asking, does anybody remember their contact's phone number?
No. Yeah, I don't memorize phone numbers.
I know the people in my life that, romantic partners,
Okay, we've got Mike.
That's
in
one.
here.
Hey there.
Oh no, it's Mike.
It's Mike.
Hey,
Okay, the instigator's here. All right. Hey, George, I was told not to say anything, but Juan's coming on tonight. Oh, hey, Juan, how you doing?
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Ted didn't know, and I didn't know. I
Perfect.
knew who Juan had to get it from, so we're good.
And Juan, there's the coffee. Okay.
Excellent. Nicely chosen.
Yeah, and see, when he started talking about liquor and stuff, and I said, I got a fridge full of beer. But the
Yes,
thing
you
is,
did.
I've been cutting back and trying to lose weight, and beer was one of those things. You put on the weight when you
Mike,
drink beer.
Don't say you've been trying to lose weight. You have been losing weight. You're not
Yes.
one of those trying
Accurate.
people anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's only 30, 40 pounds, but that's okay.
Well, hey,
I'll let
that's
you.
what I call losing weight.
Yeah, and so
congratulations.
yes, thank you. I'm trying to get.
And as far as Eleanor's question, and as far as what you said, Ted, even if your loved one's phone number is in your phone, you're not going to remember it. Why would you?
No, I do remember
Yeah.
it. It's just the one number I remember out of like 100
I
contacts, but I do know
Genuinely
one.
remember 2 phone numbers now.
Yeah.
My wife's and my mom's. That's it.
Yeah, I can
Oh.
remember Eleanor's, but that's because I've set up so many phones.
But
for
that
her
was
over the years.
timely because that was my third. My third option were calendars and contact address
Oh,
books.
okay, that makes
So
sense.
so when I was a little kid, one of the very first gadgets I ever had was a TI Pocket Organizer.
okay,
Had like
I had one
8
too.
kilobytes of
that.
storage.
wow.
Yeah.
And this is for me. This is like the 5th grade, and I was just like, I had this little calculator, and it had a QWERTY keyboard, and I could put in little notes and memos. 8K of storage,
Now you see, here's the difference in our
and I've
age.
never had.
I had one too, but you were in kindergarten. I was a grown programmer working in New York when I had one. So we're in a little different age group.
Not too far off, but
Nolan says
so
Mike has Baileys in his coffee. Hello.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But I went from having like sort of a paper organizer for school to having this little digital pocket thing to now it's just another thing that has been absorbed and
Exactly.
swallowed by the smartphone. So
So we need
to
to,
the
toast to
demise
that,
of
the
address books
demise of the TI address book. Yeah.
and standalone organizers and
Well,
calendars.
Yeah.
All right. So Juan has given us 3. So going clockwise, Mike, it's your turn.
Well, actually, wait. Well, hold on.
No, go ahead.
Earlier, the Pocket, I used to work in Best Buy like 4 years ago. They still sold the portable DVD players, but I never actually saw one in the wild that was actually
4 years
used.
ago, they still sold them.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Wow, I find that amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you can still find them. I built my last workstation to be a Blu-ray player because I like to back up the movies that I absolutely love. Like, I don't like having to hunt for films on streaming services, so I'll still buy a Blu-ray, rip it, and keep a copy of it on my NAS. So you still find like a screen that attaches to some kind of spinning disc media, but it is exceedingly rare. I'm
Okay.
trying to.
I
dig
haven't
up
seen
that
one in
stuff
the
now.
wild, but I don't know. I feel like what you're talking about is something different.
Yeah, but you could still buy a standalone FM radio. So let's
Yeah.
not pretend that it vanished from the face of the earth.
Yeah, they
That
still
is
exist.
it's not a consumer first product.
It's getting
that people
harder to
turn
find a standalone FM radio.
It is, as it is also harder to find a standalone DVD or Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so-
you can still get them. Yeah.
You can still get them. I don't think we mean kill as in they were eradicated off the face of the earth and you will never
Exactly.
find
Yeah,
one.
no,
ever
I'm not being pedantic. I'm just thinking.
You
like,
are being pedantic. That is exactly what you're being.
Wait,
You
I
are
mean-
saying that you have a disc player that plays Blu-rays, but the portable ones that Best Buy sold, they couldn't even play Blu-rays. So
No.
I'm thinking,
That-
are you talking
but
about
that's
the one
why
that
I
has the
said-
screen?
Yeah, that's why I said the portable DVD player was
Oh.
killed by the phone because your phone is a better portable screen than what was ever attached to a
Yeah.
portable. Did you not listen to what I said? I said
No,
a
I'm
thing.
confused by what you said. So the
And
thing that you have at
I
your
feel
house,
like
that's
we're
ripping the
going in a
Blu-rays,
circle now, and we're just repeating what I said before. And I don't know that that's great.
That thing
If
at your
anyone in
house,
your
that
audience-
has a display on it?
The thing at my house is my workstation that I'm sitting in front of right now,
It sounds like
which is a
monster
giant
with a finger.
tower of a Threadripper with a dedicated GPU,
But it's
and it has a Blu-ray drive on the front of it.
We're flagging Ted. No more
So
drinks.
I
for Ted.
am being pedantic, but that doesn't have the portable display.
Yeah,
Right?
Ted's had a few drinks already.
I feel we're good to move on to Mike. For the sake of your audience, I'm
Good
going to
call.
pull host duties for just a second and just kind of turn, hey, Mike, how's
There
it
you go.
going? I'm looking at you,
Go
buddy.
this way.
So
there you
if
go,
you
Mike.
had 3 things that you thought the smartphone had killed, what would those 3 things on your list be?
Oh,
Pagers.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, pagers. Let's see here.
never used one.
I want
in
to
my
say,
whole life.
I'm going to say now. I don't know if this qualifies, but your local. Oh my God! Wait a minute. You know, I don't know if you had the photomat that was on an island out in the middle of a parking lot, and you used to take your film and get it developed. And now you know
Oh,
you go like here. I noticed the CVS for me, the CVS near me. You go there, and this area was massive. It had all the developing stuff and all the trinkets that go along to develop your pictures, and now it's down to just a table.
Yeah.
Let's see. I heard you guys talking about radios, and what quickly comes to my mind is to desire to listen to terror radio. I despise of it, but I also think people have more options to listen to their music, and radio is. I'm still going with just radio in general. I don't know how it's surviving except for adjusting it going to
I
iHeartRadio.
still think a lot of people listen to radio in their car. Is my guess. I occasionally do.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. It was the third one was I'm grabbing at straws. Just radio was one of the things I was like, oh, I don't listen to radio. I just plug in.
Elmore
And,
just came up with alarm clocks, and DeMolin.
That's a good one to know.
yeah, alarm clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've trusted a standalone alarm clock.
In DeMolin, you're wrong. As long as Doctor Who exists, there will be phone boxes.
How about wait a minute? How about like phone? You know, like a landline. That's another. It's
That is a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people end up with home phone numbers that they never use because it's just sort of attached to whatever their broadband. Because
Right.
we have one.
The package.
I just never plugged
bundle.
one into this router here because it was cheaper to get the bundle than it was just to have standalone
Exactly,
broadband.
yeah. But
Yeah.
because we had the bundle, it took me about a year and a half to talk Eleanor into letting go of the home line, but she finally gave it.
Yeah.
And I will admit, yes, George, it felt weird when I gave up mine.
Yeah.
That it was just like it was so ingrained that there was like a home number.
Okay.
And, so
Here's one from Renz. Renz says video killed the radio star. I don't know what the radio star is.
that's the boggles.
The Buggles.
Buggles.
I don't know it. Maybe
Did I
I'm
butcher that name real bad?
Radio
Star. Oh yeah, it's in our head now.
Okay,
It's stuck in our head now.
Yeah.
And it was was the first video for MTV.
It was the very first video played on music television.
Oh,
Was the very first
that was
one?
MTV. Yeah.
That's a long time ago. Wow.
yeah.
All right, we need to toast mics. So
Yes.
the three
To the
things you said
demise.
were- three things you said
Especially
were
the
what?
pager. I thought I was badass when I got
Pager, what else?
mine. Film developing, and
Film
what was the other? The one in the middle. Oh my god! I don't
was like
have
radio
liquor in here. I
station.
already
Radio.
forgot.
You said radio in general.
Radio in general. Yeah. Okay.
Home phone.
Which is
lines.
sad because I mean, like the Queen song was great, Radio Gaga, but that's
All right.
sad.
like
I mean,
any-
really,
any
radio
Queen
was
song
replaced
is
by
great.
streaming and podcasts, and that's been demonstrably better.
Eleanor's back with dictionaries and calculators, but you can still get dictionaries on your phone. and calculators.
Right.
Actually,
Do you own a standalone dictionary?
not a stand. Do I still?
Do you own a standalone? I feel like I was the only one who read the brief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I own a standalone?
You can buy a dictionary. To Ted's concern, dictionaries still exist.
Yeah.
So they're technically not 100% never going to be printed on paper
and
ever
as a matter
again.
of fact-
So Ted, we've covered that concern. I know you're very concerned as to whether or not FM radios, dictionaries, or Rolodexes still exist in some
and
corporeal
as a matter
form.
of fact, since I'm sitting in Eleanor's house, I'm sitting in the room that was originally made as my man cave because her connection is so much better. Out of the door of the room I'm sitting in the garage, is a big box full of books. And those were all my books. And there's a dictionary in that box.
Mm.
So there's a dictionary about 30 feet from me right now.
So if you can
Well,
go
there you
ahead,
go.
George, and get that dictionary and just
So now
slowly blow that dust off.
Eleanor, Ted, you need to go after Eleanor and make sure she knows that a dictionary still exists.
Yes, a
and
dictionary
that
does. She's aware of it. I'm sure.
100% of the dictionaries on this planet have not ceased to be because of the invention of the smartphone.
Exactly.
So
How about
Yeah.
encyclopedias?
That is-
Are they gone? I mean, this is just a
Which
question.
ones?
Encyclopedias. Were there people going around home to home to sell them to you? Like,
Oh yeah,
yes.
years, many
Oh, yeah.
years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
so are they gone? Is that company
think
gone?
those
Well,
jobs
I am
are
sure
gone.
you can still find an encyclopedia. So to Ted's point,
but a new
They're
one,
gone.
a
They're
new-
like-
a
the
new version.
smartphone did not kill the encyclopedia.
They're
Okay.
gone.
I just
They are
wanted-
gone.
No, you have to prove to me definitively that none of them exist anymore.
Now,
So
I
Well,
would
no.
bet you-
that-
I bet
Well,
you
to
the
Mike's
sales-
credit,
smartphone
I
has-
bet you the
Encyclopedia
sales are
sellers,
gone.
door-to-door encyclopedia sellers. We
Okay.
can-
Yeah, those would be gone.
that job likely does not exist. I will give you that.
Right. Renz is saying, who remembers the Betamax of VHS?
You're asking for encyclopedic information.
I'm asking, do
through a
they still sell? Let's
smartphone.
see.
Yes,
Let's see.
I know.
I'm
That's why
asking
we're
Google,
laughing.
okay?
That is why
Let's
we're
see.
laughing. That is what Mike. That is why
That's
we're
right,
chuckling
that's right.
right now.
I'm getting an answer. God damn it! Wait a minute.
Hold on. I will go to theamazon.com and see if I can purchase a
forget
paper.
it. Then forget it. They got it. They probably have it. They got it.
Encyclopedia. Oh, so here's the fun thing. I'm going to just type in encyclopedia.
Uh-huh.
Do we think I will get an earlier result for the fictional detective story Encyclopedia Brown or an actual informational book encyclopedia? What
This
do you
is
think
on
is going to be
Amazon.com?
higher listed?
On
I'm on
Amazon.com?
Amazon.com.
I think
I'm going to go with the fiction work.
I'm going to go with the actual informational.
Informational?
I see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right, let's see. I have typed in encyclopedia. Very first, Britannica All New Kids
Oh,
Encyclopedia. So
there you go.
encyclopedia for children.
Okay.
And then the second result is the Marvel Encyclopedia for all of the superheroes of the Marvel Universe. I love it. Okay.
Which is
We were
right up
close
in
to the
my
second place
alley.
being
I love
fiction,
Marvel
but-
superheroes. Demola
Awesome.
says smartphones are starting to kill walk-in banks. That's probably true to a degree. I never thought of that, but that's probably somewhat true. All right, is it my turn?
George, you're up.
Some comments by Renz. Actually, no, I think he mentioned Encyclopedia Britannica as well. So yeah, we're ready to go. But yeah, good guy,
right.
Eleanor and Renz. I'll drink to that. Dictionary, encyclopedia.
And Simone 7 too. Especially the smartphones killing walk-in banks. I never thought it, but that's probably true. Okay, I'm going to start with cassette tapes because I have probably a couple of hundred of them with albums on them right now. I haven't played one of them in about 8 years, something like that. You know.
Well, the CDs can't. The CDs killed cassette
Yeah.
tapes. No,
That's
Can
true.
we-
That's true. But now I don't need CDs or cassette tapes because anytime I want to listen to a song, I just go on YouTube and find it. Yeah, and you're talking to a guy who owns at least 700 record albums right this second. Of course,
So, but isn't that interesting though? Because I think when it comes to music ownership, not leasing your music through a streaming service, isn't vinyl the number one again? Like I think
I've heard
it's
I've
outselling
heard it.
CDs now.
Yeah, I've heard it does, and I've never gotten rid of my vinyl. I still have my vinyl, and I keep it. And I always keep a record player that I can play it on. Elna has two record players, I believe, that she can play it on. And she can play her 45s, which she will on a Saturday morning sometimes when she's in the house.
Something great about that, like needle drop, when you just want to listen to music.
Exactly.
There is something really sweet there.
Exactly. So my first one was cassette tapes.
To the cassette players.
Goodbye.
Exactly.
I don't miss cassette tapes at all.
But they did make a lovely sound though when you had to pop
put
them
the
in.
pencil-
I like that sound.
Put the pencil in there and try and rewind it back, or you get the
The
kink out.
only thing I miss about the cassette tape is the Transformers figure Soundwave, who had transforming cassette tapes, and now that is a reference to technology that like my daughter will never understand.
Okay, yeah.
Why I've got a blue robot on my desk that has rectangular robots that pop out of him.
Okay.
And
Cool.
that's it. That's the only thing I miss about cassette tapes.
Cool.
Is Soundwave right there.
Eleanor says, I'm not ashamed to say I still play my 45s.
Nah,
Good for you,
I think
Eleanor.
we'll always throw a thumbs up to vinyl.
Exactly.
What is a
That's always-
45S? What's a 45S?
No,
45s.
Said my 45s. It was
Oh.
plural.
it's the plural.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It's fine.
All right,
It's okay.
now my second thing is going to be what the cassette tapes made obsolete, or to some degree, which is my 8-track tapes.
Oh, we're just going all audio. We had
Exactly.
FM radio and MP3 player.
I
Okay.
just went further back in time because
That's
I
great.
used to have a whole bunch of albums on 8-track. I still have some sitting in this room somewhere. So that's two things. So I'm going to toast my 8-track player and tapes.
To the 8-track.
To the 8-track.
So I only need to come up with one more. I never had a.
I want to see if you can stick the landing on something else audio related. I want to see.
Yeah, it should be.
We got cassette tapes, 8 tracks. What else?
You're having
Reel to reel.
bands for 50
You don't have
years.
reel to reel anymore because
Yes, and reel to reel would be my other one because I was just telling Ted before we started.
He has a musical history,
I
everyone.
still
Yes.
have reel to reel tapes on with albums
Yeah.
on them because. And Ted said, I don't even know what a reel to reel is. And I said, well, if you had walked into a recording studio 45 years ago, you would have seen one. You know.
Yeah, if I had a time machine, go back to
Exactly.
when before I was born.
So this is the crown.
Reel to reel tapes.
This is the crown jewel of my Transformers collection. This is
okay.
Peter Cullen. He's the voice of Optimus Prime.
Okay.
And this is his original reel-to-reel voiceover demo
There you go.
Wow.
from the beginning of his
Which
career.
tells you he's got a reel to reel player. in
Holy
his
smokes.
house.
You talk about Die Hard. Nice.
So yeah, you know, like if you love Transformers, I mean Transformers, the voice of Optimus Prime
I'm
is
just gonna
basically
say, did you
responsible.
hear that, Eleanor? Because Eleanor
For my-
loves her Transformers. Okay.
Oh hell yeah! But specifically, Peter Cullen's voice performances across all of like 1980s media
Right,
and cartoons and science fiction television shows is
And there's a
what
new
clicked me.
Transformers coming out in a few months, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it was his performance that taught me that was a job. Like
Okay.
literally, my life would not be what it is today if I hadn't clicked on
Okay, good.
his voice performance. It was specifically he was the voice of the evil car in Knight Rider. So there was
Oh, I
Kit,
didn't know
K-I-T-T,
that.
Oh my God.
and he was the voice of Car, K-A-R-R, which was
Right.
Knight's automated roving robot. He was
I
the
used to
original
love
prototype
that. I
before
never
Kit.
knew that.
And so he was based on a software model of self-preservation, not protecting the sanctity of human life. So
Exactly.
that's how Kit was able to defeat him in the end. I have a brain full of useless information, you see.
When you said the
So.
self-preservation, I
called
went,
TIFIA.
all, I
No
went
shame.
all the way back to I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do.
I can't do that. Yeah, like how?
Exactly.
And also what gave rise to the science fiction writings of Isaac Asimov, trying to
Exactly.
prevent the Frankenstein
Exactly.
complex. But I'll go ahead and put on my Optimus Prime sunglasses here
Okay,
for
there
this,
you
so that we
go.
can finish this out. And
There
I
you
have
go.
Optimus up there and Robot Optimus,
I
and
will-
then a
I
shelf
will
full of
say-
other Optimus right there.
There
I
you
will
go.
say I learned something today. I did
Yeah.
not know the gentleman's name, Peter.
Peter Cullen.
Cullen, yeah.
Well, so there have been some other great. I did a lot of work with David Kay. He was also one of my favorite Optimus Primes. But
Okay.
Peter Cullen specifically, that's when I figured out as a little kid that that's not really just a talking car. Like, that's someone's job.
Right.
Mhm.
He records this, and then you know they apply it to cartoons or they apply it to other parts of
So
media.
this is the cat,
and that planted the
inspired you.
seed.
So,
That-
Elmer,
yeah,
you-
like
you
20
look-
years
you look
later,
at
I would be
somebody
in
who worked with
California
Optimus Prime.
recording
Be
voice
honored.
actors. So.
Cool. So you've done a lot of work with a lot of actors, especially with voice work, right?
Yeah, I did about 12 years of recording, producing, and directing.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was quite a bit. Some really, really, really fun times.
And with Ted saying my heart stopped the scripts to be whenever I receive
Hey.
Zelly. Yeah.
Let me ask the group here. Talking about things getting killed off. What
Okay.
about CB radios? Remember that they were a rage in the late 70s,
And in the 80s still too.
in the 80s too.
So-
I mean,
I was not alive for the late 70s,
right.
but I was a
Right.
Boy Scout, and we had one of our merit badges was radio. Like
Oh, okay.
we did work on what ham radios.
Ham
So,
radio, yes.
um,
Yes.
That's what I spent most of my time on was longer distance communication.
And
But
ham radio is so old it goes back to even before I was born, and that
Yeah.
was in Second World War.
a
Okay.
little bit.
could we say, well, talk about things getting killed off? Could we say we could have today still Radio Shack if certain things didn't, did
Man,
technology
so-
kill Radio Shack?
How
Other
great
Other
is
than
it
they had
that
business decisions.
there's that photo of a guy who's holding like a VHS camcorder and he's got Walkman on and he's got all of these different contraptions and the joke is like that photo was taken in the early 80s and now everything he's holding has been replaced by a smartphone and a
Exactly.
pair of earbuds.
I can remember when I used to drive a truck back in the 70s, and I had a regular route per day once a week. On Monday I do 100 miles here in Jersey. Now Tuesday different. Sometimes I drive into New York, but every Wednesday I would stop and see my guy at Radio Shack. Every
Yeah.
Wednesday he was always teaching me something new. Okay.
So it's kind of a bummer because Radio Shacks were around even, I would say, it was about 16, maybe 17 years ago.
Mhm.
My family, we do like a regular ugly Thanksgiving and ugly sweater contest, just depending on what holiday we all get together for.
Mhm.
And my sister made a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer ugly sweater out of like felt pieces and cotton balls, but she went to a Radio Shack. My entire family are engineers, so she's an electrical engineer with a PhD, just like my dad, just like my brother. And she went to a Radio Shack and got all of the LED components to make an
Cool.
actual light up Rudolph
Right.
Red Nose down to the soldering iron. And you're like, that's the kind of stuff that we lose out on, not having
Exactly.
a geek physical store.
Yeah.
I need to go and buy some capacitors. I need to get some filament. I need to get a new soldering iron. I need a new
And that's
Dremel.
what Radio Shack was, a geek physical store.
And we don't have something like that.
No,
I
we
mean,
don't. Yeah.
just this morning on our podcast with TK and I, we were talking about like I went into a Best Buy and it was kind of gross. It was like I've seen cleaner setups with better organized inventory
Right.
at flea markets.
Okay.
And you're like, this kills me because there's still all of this stuff that just because we have a smartphone and it can replace all of these consumer goods,
Right.
there are still tinkering, science, engineering, hobbyist stuff
Right.
that it would be nice if there was a way that we could have a physical storefront to go and pick that gear up.
And you can remember, I think that's everywhere because here I'm in Tennessee. But now when I walk into Best Buy, it's not as neat as it used to be even 2 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, look at DeMolin said he still has a CB radio that he still uses. So good for you, DeMolin.
Wow.
George, share the screen. I got the picture Juan was talking about.
Share what? Oh, I got you. Did you put it up?
Yep.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Okay, there
crazy,
it
that.
goes.
Yes.
Holy
love it.
smokes. Yeah.
All of that fits in your pocket now.
Yeah.
All right. So that doohickey that's he's holding the cassette player. What is that big thing? That big thing on the table? That Sony thing. Is that like a shelf speaker or something?
The big thing on the table. You have to be more specific. There are lots of big things.
Under his bent elbow there, here?
Yeah. Where that's
that's
holding the cassette
like-
player. Oh, recorder.
No, it's a full like stereo. You used to have like a whole stereo deck, so you'd have like a receiver, a tape deck, a
Exactly.
CD player.
And it
You
would
would have
be
all
built
this stuff stacked, and each piece of it, from radio to CD player to tape player to, I mean, you would maybe if you were really fancy, you also had like DAT or mini disc or something like that. Every single component was its own brick that lived in your stereo equipment shelf. Again, it's lovely going back and watching a movie like I shouldn't say lovely. That's a terrible word. Like American Psycho, where he's like dancing in front of his stereo, and it's this column of gadgets, and you're like, that's what we had. We had every single one of those gadgets to have one separate job.
Yes. Cool. Okay. Very good, Ted.
Yeah, you were talking about stuff that got killed by smartphones, and just that was the place. That was my interaction with Radio Shack was when I had my CB radio, and then I got in a handheld. Boy, I was really badass. The pager was badass later on, but when I had a CB radio, it was like this brick, and you could change the crystals to get different channels, and then you had to worry about the FCC and getting a certain license to get those other channels and permissions, and you're only limited up to like 23. And if you wanted the other, and changing the crystals was the cool thing. And the only place I knew of can get it was the Radio Shack that was in the next town over.
All right, so back to the chat. I think it was Brian. Brian is crediting the smartphone with the death of wired earbuds. Disagree or agree, guys?
No, I don't agree. We are in a renaissance of cabled headphone audio right now.
And we
A
still have
renaissance?
wired earbuds. I still have them in my apartment.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like literally across the entire spectrum of cabled headphone audio, we have never had richer options, competition, tuning, and at a variety of price points that you can get extremely detailed and granular solutions that fit your tastes at ridiculously low prices. So the Chi-Fi revolution took us into super low prices for high quality drivers, multi drivers, exotic hybrid drivers. I'm wearing my Odyssey. These are $1,000 planar magnetic earbuds. I'm not even doing that to show off. It was just what was connected to my sound card here in front of me because I flippin' love these earbuds. And so for as much as we've claimed Bluetooth was really going to take over, Bluetooth as a solution is plateauing. We've sold Bluetooth to about as many consumers who are going to adopt wireless. And at the same time, headphones, gaming headsets, professional earbuds, IEMs, like all of the other solutions that you need audio to plug into your skull, cabled has exploded. Like the options are phenomenal right now.
Okay.
Well, I guess that brings us nicely, Juan, into part 2, where we should predict what the smartphone is gonna kill next.
But wait, Brian's asking me. His question for Brian goes right into that. Do you think video stabilization will get to a point where gimbals aren't needed? I think we're getting there with the phone.
I think we're pretty close. Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah, I'm thinking smartphone gimbals are on its last legs.
I mean, I would say,
No.
and it might not even be phones. I think actually action cameras have done the biggest damage
That's
to
probably true.
standalone
Yeah,
gimbals.
very much for the Hero
'Cause I-
and yeah.
Even, yeah, I was gonna say even my GoPro, which isn't great. I don't feel like I need to attach it to any kind of stabilizer. And TK recently played with the Insta360, and as soon
Right.
as you go 360 degrees for action cameras, wow, you really don't need stabilizing,
Right, yeah. I keep
hardware
looking at
stabilizing.
360, then I'm like, no, I don't want to spend that much money.
Right.
So it looks like two. So I think we're starting off on a warm note then. So wired earbuds and headphones are still going to be around. Oh, not so much maybe smartphone gimbals. Let's see, George, do you have any predictions on what's going to face the axe on a smartphone?
I have to think about it for a few minutes. I think
In the meantime, why don't I go?
nothing is popping into my head. I think we have a much better chance with Juan and Mike, is my guess.
What, us
So
killing
on-
something? All right, Juan, you and I, we're going to kill the next thing. All right.
Let's kill some stuff. I like being, some killers. So I'm actually gonna sidestep this one, and I'm gonna be sort of with George on this. I don't know that the smartphone in its current form, and especially as we're seeing features removed from smartphones that make
Right.
them slightly less functional, I don't think the smartphone is gonna kill anything in the immediate future. I think the smartphone is rife. It is the perfect time to disrupt the smartphone as our primary communications tool. And I think we're going to start seeing other accessories start to chip away at only looking at the glowing rectangle that fits in your pocket.
Okay.
And so if there are going to be other folding technologies, other headset or display technologies, other audio technologies, I think now is the right time to look at what do we do to change up our relationship with data and services. And I think we're going to start looking at a more holistic personal area network of devices that all kind of have some of their own jobs. And I think we're going to see some specialization again, where it's okay if
So do you
you
think-
have a separate product that does this one thing. You're going to start relying on that again to get stuff done.
So following that up, do you think, like I've been thinking for a while, as an individual person, I think too many of us are using way too many streaming services at this point.
Yes, accurate. I've been whittling back hardcore. Yes.
So I think because you're saying it's going to get more personal, and I'm thinking that's what has to happen, don't you think? Okay.
It's the hardest step. I mean, when you make something
It is
like
a hard
I've been playing with like heads-up displays,
Right.
and I loved Focals by North, but they were biologically designed to my eyeball. So I had these glasses, and they were this awesome heads-up
Yeah, I
display. It was
saw
like
your
having a
video on that,
smartwatch.
yeah.
Great. I will bring these up every opportunity I get because I adored what the Focals were, and I still think they've been the best solution that has actually made it to market.
Have you
But-
seen the monocle, the one that attaches to the one?
No, I haven't.
I'm not sure it's out yet, but I made a story about it last week, and I'm so fascinated by it. If I could
Right.
just have one thing to hang on one side of my eyeglasses, I think that'll work
So-
for me.
That's why I liked the Focals, is because it was
Yeah.
very discreet, and they look like chunky glasses, but they didn't look like, Google Glass.
Exactly.
And so when I looked at why they worked the way they did, that optical setup could not be shared. So the Focals were designed to fit my face with my eyeball.
Right.
And if I put them on your face, you wouldn't be able to see anything.
Exactly.
And so
Gotcha.
when we make this stuff really, really good at that kind of personal use,
Right.
it makes it really difficult to have an after sale market.
Right.
I can't resell Focals. They're
Yeah, you
designed
can't
for
make
my
it
eyeball.
sell to everybody if it's that granular.
And you have to design it. I had to go to a kiosk that was in this little trailer. They were driving around the country, and I had to do like a 3D scan of my face, and they had to do all of this specific measuring to fit me properly. It took
Right.
like a week to get them manufactured and then shipped back
Oh,
to
really?
me.
Okay. Okay. Didn't
That
realize
was a process. That was a lot. And so we're going to see, VR and AR headsets that are going to be better optically, but it's going to take us a while to make them so accessible that consumers can just go out to the store and buy one. You don't have to go to an optometrist. You can just buy one from like a Costco.
Right. And
That's
I'm
going to
kind
take
of
a while.
excited about the whole VR, especially the AR thing. That's kind of excites me. I don't know why exactly.
It has to be our next step, but that next step is profoundly difficult to do well
Based on what
and
you
to
just
make it
said, I
easy
think
for
you're
consumers
right.
to use.
Yeah. Brian saying smartphones might kill Chromebooks due to.
Oh, I wish, Brian.
Yeah, but there's only a couple
Really?
of good desktop.
Yeah, I wish.
There's the Moto.
I really
and
wish they
there's-
would.
There's Moto and Samsung, but and nobody else has a good desktop mode that I know.
Moto's the best. Samsung is a close second. You have to jump through more hoops to kind of get it to catch up to ready for. Honor. Honor and Huawei both have variations on the Magic Desktop or EMUI, and those are
Were you
really good
mentioning
too.
that, like not too long ago in the video, a few days ago, about Honor, and it seems like I heard you talking about it.
Desktop modes, I bring that kind of stuff up a bit. So I probably did kind of casually drop that in like a podcast recently. The other one that I think it's more purpose built. It's not like a full-fledged desktop mode, but the game console modes on ROG and Red Magic
Okay, see,
are
I've
also
never used
really
either one,
good.
so, okay.
But again, it's a specific use case, and
Right.
and that's what I like Moto Ready for. Is you can go into a desktop PC kind of layout, or you can go into like a more focused game console kind of layout. Well, Red Magic and ROG, those are gaming phones, so they assume you want to play games, and if you want to play your games on a bigger TV, it's just a more streamlined, full screen game console kind of UI. I think that kind of stuff can help, but unfortunately, we don't have a lot of marketing behind this because the better you make a desktop mode, the less people will want to buy a whole
PC.
separate computer.
Exactly,
And that makes
was
companies less
when you
money.
Bring it up, I think, as far as killing
Which is a bummer.
Chromebooks.
Yeah, but I don't think Chromebooks are in any danger. But it's frustrating because we have a whole bunch of techies who will say, "Well, why would you buy a monitor for your phone? You should just buy a Chromebook." And you're like, a mid-ranger phone is demonstrably more powerful than like a $300 or $400 Chromebook. Like, it's not close. And you're telling people to buy this thing that's just going to become e-waste in like 4 years versus the phone that they're always going to be upgrading, getting more powerful and getting more features instead.
That's true. Didn't think of it that way, but you're absolutely right. You know.
And the desktop mode doesn't seem to get promoted as much, and
At all.
and on top of that, there, if I'm correct, there are monitors or like a tablet screen that's meant to just run that. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. I've made a bunch of videos. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I mean.
They're-
But nobody knows about it. Nobody knows that
Yeah.
this stuff kind of exists, and that what's in your pocket could do that.
One of the problems is, like, for example, I really like the Next Dock, and if I could reach it, I would just turn around. I've got 4 Next Docks and a couple U-Perfects right behind me. And it's a shell that looks like a laptop, and it's got a touch screen. The newest one is wireless, like you can go over Miracast, or you can plug it in over a cable. It's got accessory ports, a headphone jack, speakers. You can add an SD card. I mean, it's like a full-fledged laptop, but it doesn't have a processor inside of it.
How much
It's
money are we
$300.
talking? Oh, okay.
So it's $300.
That
And
sounds
as
pretty
soon as I say
reasonable to
that,
me.
as soon as I say that, someone will inevitably come up, well, I could just buy a used Chromebook for $300. And you're like, yeah, except that would be a garbage machine that you wouldn't want to do a whole lot on.
Yeah.
And it would fall out of support in a couple years. And your phone is already more powerful than that Chromebook.
True.
So instead, you could have this monitor that has its own battery that can connect to anything. You can connect it to a Steam Deck, to a Nintendo Switch, to any gaming console that you would want to
The
plug
way
it
you
into.
described it, I thought 300 sounded reasonable. You know.
I feel this is a good buy because it works with anything that you
Hell,
want to add.
you just spent
larger
$1,000
screen
on
to.
a new phone. Okay, so what's 300?
Exactly.
Or maybe you didn't even do that. Maybe you got this Moto Edge on sale for $499 and it competes
Right.
with a Note, a Note 22, and it has Ready 4, and So with the price of this at $499 with a $300 dock is still cheaper than a top of the line Galaxy, and it
Exactly.
also is your laptop.
That is true.
I feel very frustrated with a lot of tech enthusiasts that can't really sort of conceptualize a different
and whenever
use.
you are broadcasting, at least not so much with TK, but by yourself, your frustration with these people comes across. I love it.
Oh, it rises to the top. It's very accessible frustration.
So I'm still having to think. Micro SD cards? What's
No,
the use of
micro
those?
SD cards aren't going anywhere. You have too many
Yeah.
action cameras, too many
Yeah,
small
they-
form factor devices.
I just
still
saw a
use
whole
them- I
stack
still
of
use
them at
in my
work for our
cameras that I-
our work vans for the
Yeah,
cameras.
Security
videos
cameras.
That I make, my videos that I make in my apartment, I still use the micro SD cards.
We have like a 512 gig right here.
Exactly.
I spent $49.99 for 512 gigs of high-speed video card that can support 4K at 120 frames per second video capture on a GoPro. It was $50
Okay.
for a half a terabyte. So
Imagine
when you
what
go
that
to buy
was
your
worth
phone-
5 years ago, you know.
But when you go to buy your phone today,
Right.
and they charge you like
The extra
$200 or $300
Mhm.
for 512 gigs of storage.
Exactly.
That's what they took away from us when they got
Yeah.
rid of the SD card
I
slot.
agree. I agree.
Yep.
Let's see what else. Brian is making a lot of comments. He wishes the Chromebooks would allow phones to sync to them. A lot of people do. And he's
Yeah, it should be the common sense one I'm thinking. The next thing on the chopping block that a smartphone should be killed would be the Chromebook, especially from Samsung.
Yeah.
But
right.
I don't know
I
why
mean-
it hasn't happened yet.
Direct from Google. At this point, I actually think Android is going to end up being the better. It isn't today, but I think
Right.
Android will eventually be the better consumer large screen
Okay.
experience. You have better app support. You have most of the same functions and features of what Chrome OS brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish Google would stop pretending that there were these huge artificial divisions between a browser and a laptop operating system and a tablet operating system and a
pretending that
phone.
for years now.
It's been so frustrating.
I think maybe
And people-
Samsung
people
does
so
know the
slow.
writing is on the wall for Chromebooks, though.
They won't give in on that, though. I don't know.
They haven't updated their premium Chromebook lines, have they, in the last 2 years?
No one has. So there isn't any market for premium Chromebook because of the limitations of Chrome OS being sort of a more web-centric operating system. Chrome OS is a joy when you're talking about having like a home terminal. Like we have the Pixelbook Go, and it's brilliant. You have a web browser that just kind of goes anywhere you need it to be in the house, and it can stream video well, and it's really efficient on battery. Like that is a really long-lived laptop-like solution.
Right.
Chrome OS is really in its sweet spot for things like student machines. You limited a slightly more limited functionality. You don't have kids playing games hardcore
Yeah.
on low power Chromebooks. I guess now maybe a little bit more with game streaming, but a little less so than like if you got them a really nice,
Right.
mid-spec gaming laptop. Obviously, you're going to have problems with them doing their schoolwork versus playing games on it.
Exactly.
But Chrome is in its sweet spot. And, like MediaTek showed off a whole new range of SoCs for Chromebooks that all are going to be targeting like $150 to $300. But those SoCs are less powerful than what you'd get in like a $300 Poco. Like right now, the $300 Poco that I have on my desk is an order of magnitude substantially more powerful than what's going to go in a $300 Chromebook.
So, like, even with these, because you mentioned earlier that it was so far just you Perfect and Nextdoc doing the whole, lap shop clamp thing. So, be the
The full-fledged
Windows-
portable monitor
Okay.
that looks like a laptop, the two main companies right now are Nextdoc and UPerfect, but there are an enormous number of solutions for other portable displays, battery-powered displays, graphics
many?
monitors, art monitors. There are a ton of other solutions out there that you can shop, but if you want the full, it's a laptop, tablet, touchscreen
Right.
shell, then Nextdoc and UPerfect would be the first two that I would shop.
And so far, you did a video, so one about there's 3 so far for the glasses. If you want the display as your
Yeah.
glasses.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
feel like between the U perfect next dark approach and the displays as your glasses, I think like
Mhm.
I feel like something is about to happen with a smartphone where
I
it's
hope
going
so.
to be that productivity on the work go sort of thing that would feel
Ted,
like a netbook or like
I'm
it's
with you. I wish, I really hope, but those glasses are all going to get slaughtered if more phones lose video output. So,
Right.
like going from a OnePlus 10 Pro, that's where I did most of my early testing on the Nreal Air.
Right.
But
The
those
Unreal
glasses
was the
don't
one
work with
that
the.
I was kind of attracted to.
They're really good. These glasses are another experience. Like
Right.
you don't know what it's like to have just a personal projector. It's like a
Right.
personal projector
Exactly.
that throws an image anywhere you want it, and it's just for you, and no one else can see it.
And that's why
And
I keep thinking I'm about to get excited by this whole AR business.
it's gonna be good, but
Yeah.
if our phones keep losing features, we won't be able to use them.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
Yeah.
again, one of my primary uses, it's in my bedroom right now, is plugging it into my Steam Deck.
Right.
Because now I've got a projector, a large screen representation of the game that I'm playing on my Steam Deck, and I'm not rolled into a ball to play the game.
You just put on the
I'm
glasses
kicked
and
back,
you're good to go. Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm sitting as comfortably as I possibly can, and it's
Exactly.
projecting this image out where
never
I
thought
want
of
it.
that, but that is a very great use case.
It's awesome. It's awesome, and it's not prohibitively expensive compared to other portable monitors and displays and things like
Dumb
that.
question, I guess. Would these work with my Nintendo Switch?
Yeah. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch has USB-C video out, and that's what these things depend on. The products that have the hardest time are iPhones. Lightning
Yeah.
connector does not like to play with these types of powered accessories, and so you have to jump through a lot of hoops to get an iPhone to work. But
Right.
anything else, Steam Deck, my new Razer Edge, that Razer portable gaming handheld,
Right.
plugs that works great.
One, you're making me
Laptops.
even more excited about it now. You know that, right?
yeah,
I'm telling you,
yeah, he sounds like it.
I have a friend who's borrowing the Rockid, but when I get them back from him, if you want to try the Rockid, I can send you those, and
I
you can
would
take them
love
for a
it.
spin,
Thank you.
George.
what did TK
Yeah,
give
for
you?
sure.
Huh?
What's that?
I was asking what it like. I assume the guy that you listened to was TK.
No, TK has his own. It's
Okay.
another. I don't. It's a friend of ours from the Discord. He's
Okay.
taking him for a quick test drive. I wasn't making a lot of noise about it.
Oh,
I don't want to target people like.
one more thing that might be on the chopping
Like
block.
the last
Point
time that
of
Juan sent me a phone just to try out for a month, I
Yeah.
was so blown away and so
It
great.
was the Xiaomi 10 Lite. Was that the one?
It was the 11 Lite.
The 11
What
Lite.
is it called? Point of sale machines. Our smartphone's going to kill that one.
Well, tablets kind of did.
I think tablets
Point
and
of sale-
smartphones
well-
together are about to kill all of them, don't you think? There's no reason to have them
Well,
anymore.
You know,
So, Mike, I think Mike is going to say kind of what I'm thinking here. So I'm going to step back on that one.
no. What comes to my mind, point of sale, if I'm correct, is where you go and the nice person behind the register, they would go scoot with the gun. What quickly came to my mind is I go to Sam's Club and you can pay for your stuff. You're paying for your stuff using your phone, using the app. And by the time I get done, they say, show them the QR code at the person at the door, and they scan it and they check 3 things and go, see ya. I never talked to a person. I never had to stand in line. I didn't have to do anything like that. So to answer the point of sale question, that is the next thing that could be coming, because if it's Sam's Club,
It makes me sad because that tells me a bunch of people are going to lose their jobs again.
they already did.
I don't
They
think so.
already
You don't
Well,
think so, Juan?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Actually, no. People don't lose their jobs by self-service
So-
checkout.
Well, yeah, because exactly that self-service, but then also we're filtering this through the mindset of dumb Americans, because if you've ever traveled internationally,
Right.
they are so far ahead of like portable handheld payment systems
I hear that everywhere, in all kinds of videos.
yeah, we're so dumb far behind the rest of the world on these types of mobile payments, but you still need people in that role of sort of the last step. And even when you can like scan a QR code and walk out and you've paid for everything, you still need people that are managing how the store operates, how stock is being handled, and then for the myriad numbers of times and then myriad numbers of problems where something doesn't happen correctly or someone gets overcharged or
Yeah.
in fact, with self-checkout, you end up having additional support roles needed. You don't get rid of as many
I hope Eleanor's
employees.
still listening because I love self-checkout at Walmart. She hates it because she keeps saying so many people are losing their jobs.
No one
I-
has lost
they're not
any
losing
jobs.
their jobs.
It's okay.
Wouldn't be too worried
Eleanor.
about that. I have the opposite problem where at every other store, I will make a point out of going to a cashier, like a human who's going to scan. I don't like working for free. I'm shopping in the
Eleanor
store.
says the same thing. Eleanor says they're not paying me. You know.
If they want to cut some money off of my inflated grocery items, maybe save me some money on eggs these days, I'll do that. But the only one I won't is Target. And Target here, I don't know what it is, but they purposely hire the slowest, most argumentative people to staff the checkout. And for a while, I was like,
that's terrible.
oh, so I'm sitting in line, and there's this grumpy old guy who's at the register, and like, he's helping this woman in front of him, and he's like scanning these, I think they were Valentine's Day cards, but they were just like greeting cards of some kind. And he goes to like kind of toss them at her, and two of them fall in between the credit card skimming machine and his register where no one can get them. And he turns to her and goes, oh, that happened.
Really?
Doesn't help her at all. She paid for them. That was a part of her order. And he refused to like motivate any type of solution to that problem.
Like, go get a ruler and get those out of there.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go just get replacements, I guess, but I've paid for them. She doesn't do any of that. She just leaves because he's like so like I'm not stonewalled and everything. So that is so it started where I would go into that Target and
like
try and do that self-checkout, but now I just don't do nearly as much shopping at Target as I used to because the experience of checking out at that store has become so awful that I just don't want to deal with it.
If I was there, the Jersey in me would be like, "Hey, you owe that lady 2 cards." And if Eleanor was with me, she'd be like, "Don't start anything."
And then at this point, like I'm just so over that's like the worst experience. But just the rest of the employees that they have manning the cash registers are just. I feel like they've been instructed to go as slow as possible.
Yeah, and for what cards cost these days, I'm like,
oh yeah,
that lady really got cheated.
Yeah, that easily could have been like $12, $15 worth of greeting cards.
But I was saying to Juan's credit about how slow behind we are about the whole point of sale thing. I think there was the article and even a news story about Netherlands. They were 9 years ago. They were already doing the biometrics hand scanning to pay for stuff, which Amazon is starting to do since last year.
Yeah, but that doesn't impress me because when I was contracting programming in Dallas, by the way, in 2004, I was using my hand to get in the building every day. And this was almost 20 years ago. So
I think there's just been a reluctance to tie like banking information to biometric data.
Yeah,
from a consumer standpoint.
True.
Like because
people get nervous about it, especially as you get up into my age range. My people my age, I'm the only one I know that's open to very mobile stuff. They're all scared of it.
Yeah. I feel that we still have a ways to. Someone else mentioned that like the smartphone is eventually going to get rid of your wallet and your ID card, and that is going to happen.
That was Gary. That was Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, your license.
I feel we are a long ways away from making that a practical, lived-in daily reality. I think we have a lot of problems that we need to solve.
You mean the U.S., I would assume.
I mean, even internationally, I feel you need an infrastructure that is separate from a singular tech company. Sure. And instead, we're going to start this process by saying iPhones are allowed to do this, but not Androids. And that means you need to buy an iPhone if you want to do this.
Yeah, that's what happens here all the time.
Yeah. So I think it's just going to take a ways until we fail a whole lot. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a few people are going to get hurt along the way. And then out of that, we'll come up with a system that's a bit more robust that can kind of live on mobile devices. But it is going to be difficult because you think about how casual we are with like throwing away a phone, getting a new phone, transferring data. That's just
true.
contacts and calendar. Now, when it's your like social security card and your driver's license,
and your license, and yeah, sure.
that's different. That is
true.
a step above for how we
But
need to manage and protect that data.
in my mind is sitting here thinking it may be cold-blooded, and I'm one of the healthiest people I know for my age. But I'm thinking we're gonna have to wait until a lot of people my age die off. That's what's in my head.
Wow.
You know?
I think. Well, I don't want to phrase it that way, but I think it's going to be a slow transition because of some
I only
generational
phrase it that way
issues.
because I'm still a Jersey guy, and that's how
No.
we are. You know?
Totally
Sorry,
fair.
Mike,
I'll
if you-
let you tackle that. I don't want the
Okay.
sound bite to be clippable from me
Yeah.
saying something like that. But to that token, even people my age
Right.
are going to be difficult. We have a pocket of techies who are really tech savvy, and then we have a much broader population of people who are familiar with using apps on phones and using a web browser on a desktop, but they're really not that tech
Yeah, you
savvy.
really wouldn't call them tech savvy.
Well,
yeah.
And we definitely are going to run into a generational problem, I think, with Gen Z. And I don't mean to belittle Gen Z. I think it's more an educational gap. When I was growing up, I was taking apart PCs and I had to learn DOS and I
Right.
had to learn what files and file systems and structure and
And so did
formatting
I
and all
when
this
I
stuff
got
look like.
into it, but they're not doing that now.
Right. We have improved the consumer experience to a point where it is not necessary to learn those
And
skills.
they have no idea what's going on behind the curtain.
It is much more difficult to get them
Yeah.
up to speed on
We
some
did
of
that
the more
story,
technical
George.
aspects.
Yeah, we did the story, George. Remember about the kids that didn't know what file systems were? Like, they
That's
just
true.
they just
Yeah.
use Spotlight to search for it, and
Exactly.
Mhm.
they're like folders. What? Like downloads folder? What's that?
I mean,
One-
but imagine
One, I
trying
wanna
to
gi-
teach someone how
I
to
wanna give you the Mullins
organize.
question before we go off. He
Oh,
said,
sure.
Wouldn't Fuchsia OS be better than Chrome OS? And I'm thinking you're
Not in
probably
its
the
current
best one.
state.
Okay.
It's not ready yet.
Hasn't Google just kind of let it drop for the last few years?
No, they're developing it. The thing is, it's really tricky to build a new operating system and not make everything from scratch. And one of the reasons why Fuchsia was getting a surge of development was because it was during the Oracle case. So we
Oh,
had
yeah,
legal
yeah.
entities that were fighting back and forth on how proprietary certain coding techniques were, which would have made Android phenomenally
I just listened to a
expensive.
video about that today, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact.
But even down into like how you install apps becomes
Right.
problematic. And Fuchsia, in part, was built to circumvent some of the IP that other entities said that they claimed Google owed them money on.
Exactly.
Fuchsia was a business strategy that could roll. It's kind of like Samsung and Tizen. At any point,
Right.
Samsung could go make a phone without Android on it.
Right.
They have an operating system in a drawer somewhere that they
Exactly.
could slap on a phone.
Right.
So Fuchsia has found some success in the market with very simplified devices, but it has not been developed to fully replace Android. And those court cases have kind of worked out. So the money necessary to bring Fuchsia up to a
Right.
functional state that could unseat Chrome,
Right.
Google isn't looking at spending that kind of money.
Okay.
And it's a shame because I really liked that the mission of Fuchsia was going to be ostensibly combining the best parts of Chrome
And
with
so
the
did
best
I.
parts
That
of
was-
Android.
That's what I liked about it, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sat phones. Especially with the whole what was it, the Snapdragon
Yeah.
Summit, and with the iPhone
That
with
could
the
be a thing.
mountains. Is that I think both
Although-
smartphones.
Although, really, I just think what we'll see is sort of just the merging. Like a modern sat phone is a very simple kind of phone, so I guess it won't be standalone, but You're just adding sat phone capabilities. Yeah,
Exactly.
I guess you won't have a standalone sat
Yeah,
phone.
you won't
anymore.
need a
It could just
standalone
be-
sat phone
Yeah,
anymore.
okay, let's drink to that one. Huh.
Yeah.
Watch out.
We'll go out on a high note there.
All right. All right, so
Oh,
Ted, you ended up making it a good show, but I think that's because Juan kind of saved the show. That's my guess.
No,
Yeah.
Did I hear
Ted was running
surprise
the
in this
show. He
voice, or
did
was I
great.
imagining it? Did he sound surprised?
Well, we certainly had a lot more knowledge available because Juan was here. Let's put it that way.
he was surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I don't know. I think it was more. He was just kind of relieved. The show went well.
Yeah, it's gone
was
very
great.
well, actually, And of course, we have the audience that gets into this stuff, so that's good. Our
Yeah.
regulars,
Yeah.
Let's give a toast to the audience. You guys were great with your
Salute.
Watch it
submission.
down.
Salute you guys.
And I am out.
See, you guys say salute, but see, I was raised up North Jersey with Northern Italians, and I say salute because that's what I'm used to hearing my whole life.
Overall, though, I'm actually kind of surprised that in terms of the things that are the smartphone could kill, it's actually kind of plateaued because smartphones are losing features now. So
Well, as Juan said, the earbud thing, the wireless, it's kind of plateaued. And I hadn't thought about that before, but he's right. So.
No, I'm just looking at like sales and marketing data. So
Right.
now, Bluetooth earbuds exploded, and companies were looking. That was like how they would make extra money. You could sell the phone at a slightly lower price, but you would add on these
Exactly.
other accessory purchases.
Right.
And Bluetooth earbud sales have kind of crested.
Yeah.
So they're not dropping. It's still a lucrative
No, I agree,
accessory
I agree.
market to
It's
be
still
in.
my favorite thing. I mean, I know, like Mike loves his over-the-ear headphones. Me, I love earbuds.
Well, and you can see my shelf right there.
right. I see
Where I'm pointing, that is
Yeah.
just full
Ooh.
of headphones and cans and headsets. And
is that a Denon? Ooh.
no, those are just some Sennheisers up front, some Sennheiser 599s.
The white are
So-
the sending
The
the
white.
white ones?
The
Okay.
creams, yeah, I love them. Anyway, but we're not finding any significant new audience now. When we see these sales, it's kind of like smartphone sales. We're already selling a smartphone to someone who owned a smartphone. We're not finding new smartphone
Right.
consumers. Bluetooth audio has kind of fit that now.
and that's what's happening with me because I'm one of those guys
Yeah.
who love Bluetooth audio.
Sure.
Well, I was going to say the Bluetooth headphones, earbuds, then puts you in that ecosystem of, okay, now we get the watch and you get the little jingy jong and it goes with the phone.
true.
And oh, by the way, we got the case. You know what I mean? It kind of gets you to buy the whole thing. You just spent more than $1,000 on a phone just
Yeah.
now.
Hey, I had to set up my Pixel Watch again because it seems like every time it wants to do an update, it hangs up. Then you have to re-hook it up again.
Yeah,
And
that
this
sounds
was-
bad.
Yeah, and this is the second time it.
How about the mobile journalism field? Especially with phones like the Sony Xperia Pro I and rumors of a Pro I Mark II coming out.
Mhm.
Do we think smartphones have the oomph to kill the camcorders that are used on the field?
Oh, I think they already are. I think they're already contributing to how newsrooms are operating. Not specifically one type of phone, but newsrooms across the country. So again, I was working with Shaka Armstrong, and he does a lot of production work at the local Fox affiliate here. But he's also doing articles on iMore. If you read his stuff, Shaka is awesome. He's a really great, and he likes to bring in some of those conversations about things like camera tech and people of color. So he did a whole comparison with like iPhones versus Google's and capturing skin tone. Really thoughtful tech commentary. And I was doing a lot of work on local TV with him, and the changes that we've seen to how local TV newsrooms are operated. It is streamlining aggressively. What tools do we have to get reporters out in the field? How can we sync up and not have to incur satellite costs for transmission? phones have already put a huge hurt on the traditional infrastructure that
Okay.
news companies used to employ.
Yeah, because they don't have to spend the money on some of that technology because the phone.
Well, and then also the personnel costs. You know, like doing a remote feed used to require a van full of people, and now maybe
Exactly.
you can get
The
away
whole
with a
team.
reporter and a producer, and
Right.
it's a lot more cost effective to have 2 people on the scene than 6.
Yeah.
And there's less gear that those 6 people are having to cart around, and there's
Now
less
we're
operation
literally
costs.
down to Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Reporter and the cameraman, go
Exactly.
report that news.
Looks like was this Shaka? Gary's asking if he left Android Central.
I think he's still doing. He's freelance. I mean, his stuff is great. He is all over the web, and you should really just kind of follow him. We were producing at the same time on reviews.org. And I was covering more the network beat, and he was covering more the devices beat. So I was talking about like, you know, carrier news and FCC regulations and stuff like that. He was talking more about like the actual phones and services. I've been working sort of not with directly, but I've been working alongside Shaka for almost 10 years now. He's a really good guy.
Part of the reason Gary brought that up is because there was last year for about 2 or 3 months, we all had the impression that everybody was leaving Android Central. Except Jerry. Jerry's still there, thank God.
The sites, it's been kind of tricky out there for the old school tech reporters. I mean, even guys like me, like on medium-sized YouTube channels, are like, oh, things are weird now. It's not how it used to work.
Shake-up. It seemed like a spot for a while. It seemed like it was a shake-up there. Like,
and I guess because I'm so small, things monetarily, things are getting better for me little by little.
That's good. You know what? Let's take our victories where we can find them. I am happy for you, and keep riding that train.
Exactly. I'm very happy about that.
I guess, you know, maybe with things are going with the smartphone and how it's, I guess, refining and just losing stuff. Maybe it's not, instead of looking at what tech could be killed, should we maybe watch out for what services might be harmed going forward?
It's a combination of things. On the one hand, we can talk about what tech might be killed, but then you got people like Apple and Samsung and whoever just taking away stuff from us at the same time. So tech didn't kill anything; they just took it away. You know.
Well, how much more are they going to take away?
Huh?
How much more are they going to take away? Are we going to go portless? Are we going to have?
Who would have thought 5 years ago that anybody would have taken away our headphone jack? But they did, and then they all started doing it.
Advanced connectivity features could probably go.
Batteries in with the phone, but we don't get them anymore. I mean, any power.
So I think we're getting down to kind of distilling the premium smartphone to as lowest a common denominator as we can get. Like you can bring up things like, well, iPhones only have USB 2 ports because of Lightning connectors. So I guess we can put USB 2 ports on our really expensive Android phones because iPhone users don't use them. That's going to be part of the trade. But I think really instead what Samsung is going to look at doing in the United States is blocking any kind of feasible, affordable repair. And I think that's going to be the next phase.
You really think Samsung's going there?
Oh, they're actively fighting against companies that are
ones, ironically.
What's that?
Ironically, they were one of the best ones, you know, in terms of sourcing parts to fix your Samsung phones. And now you're saying,
oh, no. See, that's where the money is going to be made. They want you to either pay extremely high prices for repair parts and make it unfeasible for you to repair your phone, and then they're going to just sell you a new phone. You can catch some of the work that's being reported on by Hugh Jeffries and Louis Rossmann. But Samsung is engaged in a legal battle right now where they are trying to define their intellectual property for any kind of OLED panel that might enter the United States. that they want the United States government to block it unless it is one of their
This is the
officially
same kind of
sourced
crap
panels.
John Deere was trying to do with
Exactly.
the farmers, and John Deere finally lost that case, but it took years.
Well, they lost the case, and their business practices haven't changed yet because it
Yeah,
takes
not
our
yet.
legal system
Yeah,
a
but-
long time
Time.
to
It's that Congress
change.
looking down
Yeah.
their throats, and they know it.
So now Samsung is doing the same thing. So parts and pieces,
it's the
camera
same.
modules, displays, and it's one of those things like, hey, let's say you've got a Galaxy S9 and you
Right.
break the screen and you want to get a new screen for a Galaxy S9. The official Samsung screen is going to be substantially more expensive than just buying a whole other phone.
Right.
And so you could go to a third-party repair shop and say, hey, you know what? I don't really care if I have the premium Samsung display. I just want something that can get my phone running for like another 6 months. I just want to keep it out of a landfill for 6 months. Well, now Samsung is saying you should not be legally allowed to
Yeah, they don't
purchase
want you to be
that
able to
cheap
do that.
replacement screen.
Right.
And that you have to buy, and they're utilizing the government entities on our imports
Right.
to block
Right.
any parts coming in from the United States until we work out these court cases.
Didn't we go
And of
through this
course, They
before?
have the money to pay politicians, of course.
Yes. And we'll lose because Samsung has the money to sit there and
Exactly.
grind this out in courts. And the people who would fight them are third-party repair shops who are all like independent contractors. Like,
And
they're not
we
going to
all
have the
know
money
that
to fight Samsung.
Big shot Samsung executives have gone to prison for bribing people, so why would they stop now?
Well, and not only why would they stop now, is that the government of South Korea decided that really those Samsung executives were a benefit to the economy, so they let them all out.
Yeah, every time they lock up one of the big shot Samsung executives, 6 months later, some politician lets them
Yeah.
out. You know, so.
So it's a very interesting sort of. I don't want to use a mafia style analogy, but
it's
Samsung
not
operates.
that far off either.
Samsung operates in a family dynasty kind of way that,
Exactly.
man, is
I
really
would
not
say it's
good.
hand
very
washes the
mafia
right
area,
hand.
So I understand. Trust me.
It's
Well-
like
well,
we got
gents,
this going on.
This has been a blast, and thanks for letting me come on and ramble and stuff. But I
Thanks for
gotta.
coming on, and thanks
gotta
for adding
go
so
and-
much to the conversation.
Of course,
appreciate it.
Thank you, Juan.
I'm happy I was able to jump in. So have a great night and have fun, and I'll be lurking on your next stream
And
next
have a
week.
blessed weekend, sir. You and your
Thanks
family.
for stopping by, Juan. Have a good night.
Take care, all.
Bye. That was awesome having him in here.
Hmm.
So, and the four of us made for a good conversation. So Ted did have a good idea in the end.
Yeah.
yeah. You,
Who knew? You know.
well,
Yeah.
it's called surprise.
Exactly.
And if I hear you right, George, it's going to be your birthday. Did I hear that right?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. Never mind. All right.
Okay.
Maybe I heard
Yeah.
bad.
Actually,
bad
there's
news.
one more thing, George. If you can share the screen, my screen, please.
I got you. For who? Not from. No, I'm not sharing that screen.
Hey, what are you doing, George? George,
I don't like people.
George, what are you doing? We made a nice card. Juan even signed it. Come on, George.
Here for it, so I'm not going through it again this year.
Go
All
through what?
right.
What'd you go through last year? I didn't
She-
catch that part.
She started with it, and then I had a whole 4 or 5 days of happy birthday. I don't want people celebrating my birthday. I don't see my birthday as something that anybody should want to celebrate.
What?
That's how I see things. And if
All
you
right.
knew some of the people I was raised with in North Jersey, there's probably a lot more people who celebrate my death day than my birthday. And that's true.
Oh.
Except
All
that
right,
they
I'll
haven't,
put
except
away
they
the
haven't
card.
got the guts to make that day come around.
Could you put that on the Telegram chat so I can
Yes,
see? I
right.
saw it for about a millisecond.
Yeah,
That's all.
I'll do it.
Just,
All right,
just
Mike.
don't spread it around. Thank you very much.
God forbid I spread around the birthday
Thank you, Gary.
card. All
Yes,
right.
I'm just not good at having it spread around. I'm not good at. I don't have a high opinion of me, so it never works out well.
Well, you should talk to yourself nicer, George. That should be your birthday present to yourself.
Oh, I'm very real. I'm very realistic with myself. I'm very blessed to have the friends I do. I'm blessed the way my life is going, and does go, and I'm very happy about that. But if I had to depend on me to make this happen, that would never happen. That's just
Well,
me.
you
Ask
surround yourself
Eleanor,
with
she can
good
tell you.
people, and you'll be happy.
Say it again.
Surround yourself with good people, and then you're happy, and you're surrounding yourself right now with good people.
Well,
Here, here.
The 8 people are in the chat for one.
that's just God's
Here's
blessing me. That's how
here's
I look.
3. Here's 2 more here. Will's busy, but he's watching. He's lurking. Probably he's one of the 8. So
He
there we
didn't
go.
type anything in tonight. I thought he would tonight.
I don't know. He couldn't. It
He
seems
must
like he
be
couldn't
busy.
make it.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. Ted, you had a great one. I have to give it to you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. All right, guys. I hope everybody has a very blessed weekend. Thanks for everybody who contributed. You guys, all you regulars, contributed extremely well, and I'm
did.
very,
Even Eleanor
Gary,
too.
it's
yeah,
still
and
here,
now
Gary. Don't
I'm
worry.
very proud to have you all as regulars on our show. And
There's
please keep
Will.
it up.
And
I'm
there's
sorry.
Will.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there's Will. All right, well,
Responding
you're
to
here.
Gary's question.
Okay.
65%? What's that?
I was gonna say, Will, that old?
Here's part of it.
75%.
Oh, that's right. I got that too. Whoops.
All right. Have a great
Oh,
weekend,
man.
everybody. And let's always keep in mind we all do better when we love each other. And I'm going to
See you,
end this
everybody.
thing.
Whew.
See ya.